So again, for those of you just joining, feel free to chat any questions that you have in the chat to the group or to Elise Barker, and we will answer those as we go. And Elise, please feel free to interrupt me at any point. So the first thing you probably need to know is, when do you come on Saturday and where do you go when you get there? So if you've been reading the emails or checking the website, you hopefully know that graduates need to arrive. Everything says 9 a.m., but honestly, between 9 and 9:30 is great. We've got, a smaller group to work with, and I know, roads may not be the best on Saturday morning, so make sure to give yourself plenty of time, but anytime between 9 and 9:30, for sure be there by 9:30. You will come down to the turf on the northwest side of Holt Arena in the corner, and I'll show you where that is in just a second. But you can see these check-in tables here on your screen. You'll go there by, let me try that again. They're organized by alphabetical order. So you'll wait in the line that your name corresponds with, and a volunteer will hand you your reader card, which is what has your name on it. And that's how our reader knows what name to read when you cross the stage. So these cards are really important. Make sure you get a card before you go sit down. So if you're familiar with Holt Arena, here is the northwest corner. This is what you're looking for. You'll look for that not so lovely tiger on the wall. That's where these check-in tables will be set up. So this is a view from the outside. The north side is the one with the big parking lot. It's the main side. You'll actually come in down this ramp where these really tall doors are. But as long as you make your way down to the turf in that corner, you'll be just fine. So everyone will get a reader card when they check in. Your reader card should already have your name and your degree on it, and it will also have any honors designation on it that you've earned, and it will have a code. It looks like a QR code, but it's a little different. And that code will actually be scanned when you go up to cross the stage, and so your name will pop up on the screen. It's kind of cool. So we'll have two big screens on either side of the stage. It will show you a video of you walking across the stage and have your name on it. On the reader card, you're welcome to write in very simple notes about pronunciation if you desire to do that. I would caution you to make it as simple as possible, because our institutional reader, who is fantastic, has like half a second to look at your name before she says it. So don't write a bunch. Don't, a lot of writing may confuse her. So just keep it as simple as possible. If, let's say we have your maiden name on file and you've since been married, and so the wrong name is on the card, feel free to cross that last name out and put your current name that you wish to be read on there. That's just fine. But please don't add extra, awards or anything funny. Don't add a lot of extra information to that card. So you'll keep the card with you the whole time. When you'll go up the ramp to the stage, when you get to the top of the ramp, there'll be a volunteer there to take that card from you, and then you don't have to worry about it from then. And let me just mention that we will have volunteers every step of the way on Saturday to help you. We want to make this as easy as possible. So just look for a volunteer if you have a question, and try to relax and don't be too nervous about all of this. A few random things that we often get questions about. Honor cords will be available at the check-in table if you haven't picked those up yet. Your tassels, which we can again remind you on Saturday. The volunteers all know this information. But undergrads, you'll wear your tassels on the right side, and graduate students, your tassels should go on the left side. And then at the end of the ceremony, undergraduate students, you'll get to move your tassel from right to left. That's one of my favorite moments in the ceremony. Oops, sorry about that. Graduate students, we'll talk a little bit more about hooding in just a moment, but probably the biggest thing to be aware of is make sure your hood is unbuttoned. There's a string and a button on the back of it. Make sure it's undone, because if it's buttoned when you go up to be hooded, you're gonna have some trouble, and we don't want that for you. I'm gonna pause for just a second, Elise. Everything going okay? Okay.
We had one person ask about the honor cords, and I just said that again. One thing about we'll hear more about the hoods later, but we will have some safety pins for you to use after the fact if you need them. So you can grab it from us and put it in your pocket, and you'll have those available for later.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, our volunteers have little pouches that we wear around our necks, and we have, some supplies in there like safety pins, bobby pins, tissues. Again, we're trying to take care of you as best as we can. So don't hesitate to ask if you need something. So I know we had a question earlier about decorating your caps. Yes, absolutely. Decorate your caps. It's really fun. And our photographers do a great job of getting photos of that and kind of compiling a collage for us, because we get some pretty creative caps. Just please keep in mind that, there are people behind you that are trying to see the stage. So don't do anything too tall or obnoxious. And, obviously make it tasteful. I feel like I probably don't need to say a lot about that. I think you are all, we're all grown-ups here, or at least we're about to be. So so after you check in and get your reader card, you will head right to the seats on the turf. And this is a little different, which if you've never done a graduation ceremony at ISU before, you don't know that it's any different. But typically before COVID, we would have the graduates line up and they would process in at the beginning of the ceremony. We're still not doing that yet, and I'll show you why in just a second. So we're just going to have all of you go right to your seats, and there will be volunteers there to help you get seated. I wanted to show you kind of the order of the seating. And if you're looking closely at this diagram, it's actually turned, what would it be, 90 degrees from how this will actually be set up. Because the group is smaller in winter, we get to face just the north side of the audience. It kind of like the high schools here do it. If you've ever been to a high school graduation in Holt Arena, it's much nicer that way. It's a lot more intimate. The audience has a much better view. So it will be the same setup, just turned to the north side, which that may have not made any sense to you, but it will when you see it. But the order of the seating will be the same. So the first row or two will be left empty for our faculty. They'll be sitting in the front of your section. Next, our volunteers will seat the doctoral students. After them will be the master's students, and then undergrad will sit behind them. There is no particular order for the undergrad seating. If you are an undergraduate, let's not go there yet. If you're an undergraduate, you can sit by your friends. You can sit, it's kind of first come, first serve. You can sit wherever you like. Masters and doctoral, we will group you somewhat together within your college, but we'll explain that to you when you arrive. But the order is something we get questions on a lot. Undergrad, there's no order. It's not alphabetical. It's not by program. It's just whatever order you choose to sit in. So speaking of order, here is a brief overview of how the ceremony will run. Another nice thing about winter commencement is that it's short. We should definitely be done within an hour. So that's good news for all of you. You can get on with your celebrations. But first we'll have a processional. And again, I'll mention that again in a second. Like I said, the graduates won't process this time, unfortunately, but we will still have, we wanted to keep up with tradition and do some type of processional. So the college banners will come in, our faculty will process in, and then our special guests that sit on the stage will process in. We have a graduate singing the national anthem for us. The president does a welcome and his speech. Other than him, there are only 2 speakers, so you don't have to sit through a lot of long, boring speeches. And I can tell you, I've read the student speaker speech already. I don't know if you're on here, Heather. There's too many names for me to look through, but it's fantastic. And it's not going to be long and boring. She's done a great job on that. And after those 3 speakers, then it's time for the stage crossing. So it actually goes pretty quickly. Again, we'll have volunteers that will tell you when it's time to stand up and to line up and to go across the stage. We'll take care of all of that for you. After all of the graduates cross the stage, we've got a few closing remarks from the president. And then we get to have some fun where we shoot off streamers and play fun music and try to make it, a true celebration for you. One thing I want to talk about is at the end, when we do shoot those streamers and start playing the music, I would really like all of the graduates to stay at your chairs. You'll be standing up at this point. No need to sit down, but just stay at your chairs because we are going to have our platform party and the faculty recess out. So they will walk down the center aisle, back the direction they came in. Once that is over, it's a free for all for you guys. You can you can hug everybody. You don't have to file out in a specific order. Once the faculty passes you, you're free to leave your seats. And a nice perk of this commencement ceremony is that your family does get to come down to the turf at the end and take photos with you. In spring, because of COVID and mostly because we had 3 different ceremonies that we had to clean up for in between, we couldn't let family members come down to the turf, which is a typical tradition at ISU. So I'm glad that you guys get that chance. So this is why we are not doing a processional with graduates. This is from a spring ceremony, so it is a lot more graduates than we would have on Saturday. But this is how we typically line up for a processional. And looking at this photo after being in COVID life for 1.5 years or whatever it's been, gives me anxiety because those people are so close together. Everyone's packed in. There's not enough space to distance everyone and spread everyone out. So this is a big reason why we're not having you process in, and you'll just be going to your seats instead. So the important part of the ceremony for you is crossing the stage. So like I said, a volunteer will let you know when it's time for your row to stand up and cross the stage. Once you get to the top of the ramp, which is where the stage begins, you'll hand your name card to the volunteer that's there, and she will tell you when to walk across the stage. And I've mentioned the order is graduate students first and then undergrad. So you'll cross the stage, and then there's a ramp to get off the stage. There will be a photo station set up at that ramp where our professional photographers will take a posed photo of you. And be aware, you may not end up in your same seat. Theoretically, you should. But, if somebody happens to exit the line to run to the restroom or, something happens, there's a good chance you may not be back in your original seat. So don't leave, cell phone or belongings there at your chair. And then plan to stay for the entire ceremony. We haven't had a problem with this in the last few years, honestly. You've all been great. And like I mentioned earlier, it should only be about an hour. So I think we can all handle that.
Allison, can I ask a question quick?
Absolutely.
We had a student ask, let me find it. If there are no seating arrangements, does that mean that my degree, major, and honors will not be announced when I walk?
No, not necessarily. So our graduate students, they will have their degrees read. Undergrad, we just read your name, and we do read honors for undergrad if you have honors designation. We don't read the degrees for undergraduates typically just because it adds so much time to the ceremony, and we want to get you out of there, as quickly as possible. So the order doesn't matter. That information will be on your card when you hand it to the volunteer, and then the reader will know to read your name, degree if you're a graduate student, and any honors designation that you have. I hope that answered the question.
Have fun. Yeah. Thank you for letting
Other questions right now, Elise?
letting me.
Not right now. I'm just
Okay.
going through and figuring out if I have to mute somebody.
Yeah, I know. I just muted all participants, but I mean, all of you have the ability to unmute yourselves if you would like to. But yes, just a reminder, if you're just joining us, please mute yourself so everyone can hear. So this just gives you an idea of the direction that you'll cross the stage. If you're looking at the stage from the audience, you will go left to right and then back into the seats. And I keep saying this, but we will have volunteers at every possible place where you might get confused or need help, and we'll show you right where to go. So again, because of COVID, we won't be shaking hands this year. The president will still be on the stage, and so how we're going to do it is he will be handing you a diploma cover instead across a table. And we did this for the first time in the spring, and I actually liked the photos from this a lot better. I feel like we got much better photos of graduates with the diploma cover instead of the handshake. For some reason, that handshake throws everybody off, and I feel like makes everybody a little bit nervous. But just don't expect to be shaking hands. But when you get across the stage, the president will be there, very similar to the setup, to hand you a diploma cover. Everyone will have masks on. which we'll talk about again in a second. Masks are required on campus still, and so please keep your mask on for the entire ceremony. You can remove it for the photo that I mentioned that is just off of the stage when you go down the ramp. You can remove it for that one quickly and then put it back on. That way you can get a really nice posed photo of yourself holding your diploma cover and you can actually see your face. Okay, now to hoodings, and undergrads, bear with us. I know this may not necessarily apply to you right now, but hopefully this may be information that you need to know in the future, and it won't take too much of our time right here. So a few years ago, we changed it so that master's students get to be hooded on stage. And this ceremony, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, is only the second time that we've been able to hood master's students at ISU. So that's exciting for all of you master's grads. Our masters in spring are probably jealous because they did not get to get hooded. We didn't do any hoodings in the spring. So if you're a master's graduate, the dean of your college and the dean of the graduate school will be hooding you. And then doctoral grads, as is the custom in academia, will be hooded by their advisor. And then again, the dean of the graduate school, which is Adam Bradford. Now, this is the part that I have been nervous about all day long, trying to play this video for you. So let me just play it, and I'm going to check in with you guys and make sure that you can hear it when it plays. Do you hear sound, Elise? Maybe you want to?
Nope, no sound.
No sound. Okay, that means I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let Elise share this for us because she's the pro. Is that all right with you?
That's fine by me.
Okay, great. Thank you all for bearing with me. Okay, so I'll stop. I'll let Elise share this hooding video and then we'll jump back into it. Elise teaches in our English department. She's fantastic, and she has, because of that, she has lots of Zoom experience.
Okay,
Otherwise, we'd be okay. I'm ready.
Tell me if you can hear it, Allison.
Yep, I hear it.
Greetings, Idaho State University graduate students. I am thrilled to be congratulating you on your upcoming graduation and the completion of your degrees. We are so excited to be joining you at commencement at the end of this semester to celebrate your accomplishments with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. We've put this video together today to try to help you understand a little bit better what's going to happen that day and how you will be hooded. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy what we've presented for you today. I'm going to turn the time over to Dr. Collum, who will show you how this is done.
I'm Dr. Tracy Collum, the Associate Dean for the Graduate School at Idaho State University. And today we're going to talk about hoodings for graduation. So one of the tips for our hoods is to make sure you have it correctly undone. On the back, there is typically a string and a button. Make sure they're undone before you come to graduation. Otherwise, you may get choked at your own hooding, and we don't want that. Additionally, you'll want to make sure your hood is placed on your left arm as such when you walk across the stage to be hooded. So today we're going to show you how to walk onto stage with your hood and how you're going to be hooded with the graduate dean and either your college dean or your academic advisor. So the student is going to hand the hood to the graduate dean, Dr. Bradford, and then the dean and the other hooder will place the hood over your head. Please make sure to wait until we place the hood exactly where it should be so that way you get a great picture from the campus photographer for graduation. Once you're done, you'll continue off stage and the next student will come on. With our master's students, we will have them hooded by the graduate dean, Dr. Bradford, and then their college dean. One thing to note with your master's hooding is your cap is more square, so you want to be aware of squatting down if you're a little tall, so that way the dean's
Yes.
note with your
Now do the whole thing so they can do it because they came in late, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with
They're
doing
recording
it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Allison, can
Well, I
you
don't
put
know.
the mute on?
Can I go back? I can't go backward.
on the left side. can stand up, Christoph. It should be on the left side, and one way to remember that is once you've left your baccalaureate degree, you have left college, so you have it on your left side. You will exit the stage on the left, and then the next master's student will come forward again with the hood over your left arm. The deans again will wrap that around. Notice with the colors of the hood, the colors are based on discipline. So depending on your discipline, your collar will match that. It's a universal color tradition throughout the history of higher education. Some other tips and tricks for your graduation day is to know the difference between your master's gown and your doctoral level gown. Master's students, you're lucky. You get an extra little pocket in your sleeve to hold your snacks or even your cell phone or keys. For your doctoral level gown, you don't have the extra pockets, but you do have the extra stripes to showcase your extra degree. So congratulations. One thing that you do need to know is inside of each of your gowns, there are typically buttons. I'm not sure if you can see them on this video, but take your hood and your gown and check those out. For your hood, you have an extra string that when you zip it within your gown, you can roll your string within these buttons to help pull it off of your neck. If this does not work, I like to carry a safety pin, and I actually take the string and pull it down a little further into the gown and pin it inside the gown to help pull the hood off of your neck. So you could do that as well.
Great, thanks, Elise. Let me jump back to this PowerPoint where we're getting towards the end. Bear with us, and I had a chance to look through the chat. So thanks for all of your great questions. We'll try to get all of those answered. All right, that's gonna play, isn't it? Here we go. Okay. All right, so I mentioned this a little bit earlier. After all of the students cross the stage, the president says a few closing words. We'll have a little celebration on the turf. When the fun music starts and the streamers are launched, please stay at your seats where you're standing until the platform party and the faculty walk out. Then you're free to celebrate, mill around, take photos, whatever you want to do. I think we've talked about all of that already. So I just wanted to give you a little sample of what this looks like. This is from spring. But I like the streamers. They make for great photos. It's a lot of fun. So I know several of you have asked about this. The ceremony will be streamed live so that your friends and family who aren't able to make it can watch you cross the stage. It will be on ISU's YouTube channel, which you can see the link right there, or it's easy if you just search Idaho State University on YouTube. They should be able to find it. It will be streamed live, and also a recording of it will be posted later that day on Saturday, and we'll leave it up for quite a while. So you and your family should be able to watch it anytime you want. We will have a professional photography team there taking photos of you. They'll get, if you're being hooded, they'll get a hooding photo of you. Like I mentioned, they'll take a posed photo of you as you come off the stage, and then they'll take a photo of you. It's typically the handshake moment, but this time it's when the president hands you your diploma cover. And just a side note, the diploma cover that you get has a message in it from our alumni office. It doesn't actually have your diploma in it. The actual diplomas will be mailed in, I believe it takes about 5 weeks. The registrar's office knows that better than I do, but after all of your grades post and all of your finals come in, once the final grades are posted, then they process diplomas and mail those out to you. We haven't had a lot of trouble with this in recent years. We used to, but just mention to your family and friends not to come down to the railing to try to get a better photo of you. It's really inconsiderate for the people sitting in the first couple of rows when people come and stand in front of them to get a photo. So stay in their seats. That will also help keep everybody safe with distancing. But after the ceremony, like I mentioned, I'm really happy that your family and friends get to come down on the turf and celebrate with you and take photos. And if the weather's nice, you can get some photos outside as well. I honestly haven't looked at the forecast in a little while, but I'm hoping we get decent weather. One other thing I wanted to mention is check your email a day or two after the ceremony and look for an email from a company called Stage Clip. It's a company that we partner with, and they provide something pretty cool. They will make you an individual video clip of you crossing the stage and your name being read that you can easily share on social media or email to friends and family. So if you get an email from Stage Clip, you have no idea what that is, make sure to open it. It's not spam. It's actually a pretty nice little gift from us. One thing I wanted to mention that I realized yesterday has been missing from a lot of our communications. If you have audience members, any of your guests that need special accommodations with their seating, maybe they can't do a lot of stairs in Holt Arena, maybe they're in a wheelchair, whatever it may be, please give the Holt Arena a call at this number that you can see on the screen, and they will make arrangements. We do have several seats reserved for just such needs that we've made sure there aren't stairs involved or they're easy to get to. Holt Arena does also have designated wheelchair seating, and we want to take care of everybody and make sure everyone's comfortable and able to attend. If you or any of your guests need ASL interpreting, we have that available as well. You can go to our website, the Commencement website, which is isu.edu/commencement, and there'll be a Zoom link there the day of the ceremony that you can watch ASL interpreting in real time. And also for your family members, Holt Arena will be selling some limited concessions. Unfortunately, we don't have any for the grads, but your family could sit there and have some Coke and candy while they watch you. And then kind of along the same lines, if you, any of our graduates, if you need some special accommodations, it seems like, especially in the winter, we always end up with, someone who's just slipped on the ice and now they're on crutches or whatever it may be. If you need any special accommodations, please let us know as soon as possible. It's not a problem. We just want to be able to take care of you as best as we can. And you can email us at commencement@isu.edu. This, again, we would lean on the volunteers for this. Just volunteers would direct you if something were to happen in Holt Arena. Those of you, the graduates on the turf, would exit up the ramps on either end. Don't try to go up into the seats to see your family. Just get out of the building as quickly as possible. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that, but I do want to let you know that all of our volunteers have information and know what to do in the event that something were to happen. So we're getting close to wrapping up here. A few random, frequently asked questions that we get. Parking is free the day of graduation at Holt Arena. No ticketing. That would really put a damper on your celebration. Leaving the university, here's a parking ticket. So it's free for everybody. This semester, tickets are not required for audience members, which is really nice. You're not limited to the number of guests that you can have, nor do they need tickets. Printed programs will be placed on all of the graduate chairs. So as you're walking in the door, you may be looking for a program, or you may see an usher handing out programs. You don't need to grab those. You will get one on your chair, and then your family members that come in can get one from the ushers. We also will place branded ISU masks on your chair along with the program. We would like you to wear those. Again, masks are required. You can wear any mask that you want to, but we would ask you to do us a favor and wear those branded masks that we provide so that our photos look uniform. It makes a really big difference when most everybody is wearing the same mask. In school colors and it's branded, it looks really nice. So if you could wear those, we would appreciate it. I've mentioned this. Yeah.
There are a couple of questions that came up that this might be a good time to answer.
Sure.
One person asked what time guests should arrive.
That is a good question. I believe the doors for guests will open an hour before the ceremony, so 9 a.m., which is about the same time that you're supposed to arrive as well. So 9 a.m. on, they should be fine.
Another question that I hadn't even thought of was this student wanted to know how many layers to wear, how cold or hot will it be? And I think that's a good question.
That is an excellent question. I didn't think of covering that either. So, okay, my answer is going to sound kind of contradictory, and I don't know if it will help you, but I'm going to try to help you. Honestly, the floor of Holt Arena is pretty cold. If it's a cold December morning, it's going to be very chilly on that floor. However, when dealing with graduation, I always tell people not to wear, suit coats or something heavy under their gown, because graduation gowns get so hot. I feel like, especially if you have a doctoral robe, they get really warm. So that's when I said I'm going to contradict myself. It's very chilly in there, but your graduation gown will keep you warm. And I hope I'm not just spewing false information here, but I think that's actually why regalia originated in the Middle Ages, was as the purpose to keep people warm. So take that for what it's worth. If you're a person who gets cold easily and doesn't like to be cold, I'd wear, some decent layers. If you're like me and you get hot all the time and you get cranky when you're hot and hate to be hot, I wouldn't wear very heavy clothing underneath your gowns. But that was a great question. Thank you for asking. Any other ones right now, Elise?
Yeah, we just got one about, and this is actually a repeat from another student, asked whether they should, where there's a place to store stuff for a ceremony, or should they give it to a friend or their family, or what's a recommendation for that?
That's a good question too. So I would recommend you bring as little as possible with you to the floor. I know everybody wants to have a cell phone to take their, selfies with their friends. And that's small enough. You can figure out what to do with it when you're on the floor. I always say that our master's grads have it the best, because master's gowns have a long, like a pocket underneath their sleeve, and it's great for tucking in your phone or your chapstick or keys, whatever you bring with you. So master's grads, you're set. But everybody else, I would recommend giving your things to a family member to hold. You could try stashing some things like behind the check-in table if you'd like to, but honestly, we don't have anybody, set aside to monitor that and keep an eye on your things. And I would hate for anything to walk off or get broken. So just bring as little as possible with you down to the turf is my recommendation. I don't want to forget to announce or remind those of you who already know about it that our name reader for the ceremony is Dr. Barbara Wood Roberts. Got tongue-tied there. And I mentioned before, she's fantastic. She just does a phenomenal job for us. And she has very kindly agreed to jump on this Zoom call at 4 o'clock to meet with any of you who are really concerned about name pronunciation. Again, you can, make a little note on your reader card, but if you want to just have a chance to speak with her in person and you say your name for her, stay on this Zoom call or jump back on at 4 o'clock. She'll be available from 4 to 5 on this same Zoom link. And again, she's great. She's really good with phonetics and names, and just does a much better job than I would ever be able to. That is one job I would never want to have. But just a reminder for all of you who are interested in that to stay on and hang around or jump back on at 4. We've gone through a lot of, little details. I've been talking for a very long time at you, and I appreciate your patience with that. But ultimately, we want you to enjoy the day. And that's why we have this opportunity to ask questions. That's why we have so many volunteers day of to help you. We want this to be an amazing memory for you. And so don't get caught up in worrying about things, which is very contradictory for me to say, because I worry about everything. But we want you to, just have a great time and enjoy the celebration that you've earned. So we will go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Elise, if you want to catch me up on some of the chat questions, and I can open the chat now too, we will answer any questions that we haven't yet.
Yeah, there's a couple of good ones in there.
Good. This part makes me nervous too. Answering questions on the spot.
One student had a question about the tassels. Just to clarify about, undergrads versus grads and who does what. Okay. And I just read a question about tassels, about when you move it to, which is a good question. So yeah, let's talk about tassels for a second.
And now that I don't have my notes in front of me, let me see if I do this right. Undergraduates will wear their tassels on the right-hand side, correct? Now that I've just told you all, this is a test. Were you listening? But yes, undergraduates, your tassels will go on your right. And again, if you don't remember, you can ask somebody once you get there. Graduate students, since you've already graduated from undergrad, your tassels will be on the left. Don't change that when you walk across the stage. That was the question I just saw. That was a good one. You'll cross the stage with your tassel as is. And then once all of the graduates have crossed the stage, undergrads, President Satterley will ask you to stand all together and move your tassels all together after everyone's crossed the stage. So hopefully that cleared that up. I saw that somebody else mentioned the orange sash. So undergraduates do have the option to buy that orange stole of gratitude, I believe they call it. It's certainly not required. That's a personal choice. If you want to buy one, the bookstore sells them. And there are several other stoles too, you know, if you're in sororities or if you're a veteran or student athletes have different stoles too. But again, none of those are required. That's up to you. So not a dumb question, the stole, and you get a different answer every time. I'm sorry about that. So yes, the stole of gratitude was started just a few years ago, honestly, at ISU. As the idea behind it was to wear it for the ceremony and then give it away as a gift to someone who was instrumental in your academic career. So, you know, great idea to give it to a special professor or to your mom or, you know, whoever you'd like to. But again, you don't have to. That's certainly a personal choice and you can keep it for yourself. So I know this gets a little confusing. There's a couple different things we're talking about with this. The stole is, I actually see someone on the screen that has it in the background, but I know not everybody's probably looking at the same screen that I am, but it's a solid piece of orange material that just hangs straight down your gown. Masters and doctoral students wear hoods. So thank you, Tiffany. Awesome.
That was me. That was Elise.
Oh, thanks, Elise.
Yep.
You're
Sorry to do that to you, Tiffany, though.
Thanks for letting us point you out. But yes, in Tiffany's screen here, this is the stole, and I believe it's for undergrads only. Masters and doctoral students don't wear this, but this is the stole of gratitude for bachelors. It's optional. She is all set and ready to go. She's got her outfit and her mask. It's going to be awesome. And her name. Wow, nice. Very awesome. Thank you for letting us pop in. And Elise, thank you for reading my mind. So that is the stole, not to be confused with the hoods that graduate students wear. So yes, master students and doctoral students, you will have a hood. They'll all have orange on them because you are graduating from ISU and orange is our school color. But you will also have a secondary color on there, and that is based on your major, which that was a question we had earlier, so I thought I would just mention that. Let's see, I know I've missed a couple of questions. So the photos that the professional photographers take, their company, they will be sending everyone an email shortly after graduation with a link where you can view and purchase those photos. The stole, again, the idea behind the stole of gratitude is to wear it at the ceremony and give it away afterwards as a gift to someone who was instrumental in your journey, who made a big difference in, you know, you being able to go to college, whatever you deem worthy, for lack of a better word. Other questions have I missed, Elise? Let's see.
I'll just pop in there and say that you can make of that stole of gratitude whatever you want to. And honestly, as a grad student, I got one and gave it to my husband, and I went ahead and wore it anyway because I'm extra that way. But I made a big deal of it and did my own little thing with him as a thank you for getting me through it. So you're free to do with it what you want. So.
Any other questions? Oh, let's see. Okay, so good question. Yes, all of your guests will want to park on the north side. They can certainly park on the south side if they want, but because of the way we are setting up the stage, the audience will only be sitting on the north side. It makes for a much better view. So, and the north side is the big parking lot anyway. So it's probably where they'll naturally park. But yep, tell your guests to enter on the north side. And we will have ushers at each entrance to assist them if they just show up. You know, if it's somebody who needs special seating and you haven't called ahead, totally fine. We'll have ushers there to take care of that. We'll have ushers handing out masks for people who don't show up with a mask. We'll have ushers handing out the programs.
I found
Yes, okay.
another question that we haven't answered, and she asked if her sister they're walking together and they wondered if they could take the professional picture together.
Oh, so I don't see why not, especially if you're, you know, if your sibling or spouse, whoever you're wanting to get a photo with, especially if you're, you know, able to cross the stage one after the other. I can't imagine why that would be a problem, because when you come off of the stage, there'll just be a backdrop. The photographer will be, you know, go, go, go. And so you would just stand together. Yeah, I think that's nice. I appreciate all of you taking time to jump on this call and get this information today. I mean, hopefully will ease some of your anxieties, but it definitely makes the ceremony go smoother for everybody. And I know how crazy this week is. It's crazy for us too. So I do appreciate you taking the time. Yep. So with the mask, it's the same situation as you would find anywhere else on campus right now. They're required. You've probably noticed, you know, honestly, we're not really policing it as like we were last year or even in the spring. And certainly, you know, if somebody has an exemption, that will definitely be honored. I don't know if many of you have been to a football game recently, you know, it's the same thing. Masks are required. We want everybody to be in a mask, but there's nobody that's going to be walking up and down the aisles saying, put your mask on. Where's your mask? That's not going to be happening. Oh yes, March Through the Arch. Thank you so much. So tomorrow, yes, Friday is tomorrow. This week has been nuts. Tomorrow at 1 p.m., we will have March Through the Arch at Swanson Arch. If you don't know where that is, it's between Fraser Hall and the Physical Science Building. And it's one of our most beloved traditions at ISU. You'll get to walk through the arch. Hopefully, many of you walked through the arch into campus as a freshman, and now you'll walk in the reverse direction as a graduate. And I see some of you shaking your heads. I'm an ISU alum, and I did not walk and march through the arch in my freshman year, but I did when I graduated. So I kind of missed out on half of that tradition, but it's a fun one, and you can get really good photos. I'm hoping it's not blizzarding tomorrow, but show up to that. Caps and gowns are optional. It's up to you. If you want to get a cool photo in your cap and gown, that's great. If you're freezing and you just want to wear your snow boots and like fuzzy sweaters, that's totally fine too. But join us at 1 p.m. tomorrow. I know there's been a few things chatted. I know the hooding, I'm a little confused about some of these hooding questions. So once in a while, different colleges or departments will hold their own celebrations or ceremonies. And so if you have something, you know, if you have something going on tomorrow at 10 or at 1, or you have something on Saturday at 1, that may just be pertaining to your own college or department. But for everybody, graduation, the ceremony is Saturday at 10 a.m. There's one ceremony. Every graduate student will be hooded there at that time. It's 10 a.m. on Saturday. Hopefully that clears some things up. Where do the graduates meet when they arrive at 9? So you'll come down to the turf. You'll see it is the northwest corner. And if you're not good with directions, don't worry about it. It's where everybody else will be gathering, but just come down to the turf in the corner, enter in on the north side, and you'll find it. So march through the arch. You will meet right at the arch. So, and the direction that you're walking, you'll want to meet on the quad side of the arch. So near the Physical Science Building. Just gather there. When it's 1 o'clock, a speaker will come up to the podium and kind of bring everybody together as a group. There's just one speaker at March Through the Arch. It goes really quick. So if it is really cold and snowy, don't worry, you're not going to be stuck out there for a long time. Just meet there at the arch, and then everyone will proceed through. There's not a specific order. You can just jump in line and go whenever you want to. So if you are not from Pocatello, this is your first time visiting, you can go ahead, chat. You could chat Elise your email or your phone number, or you can email our commencement email, which is commencement@isu.edu, and we'd be happy to give you some more information on directions or anything you need.
I just in direct message Mason, but I'll put the commencement email on there into the chat so people can grab it if they need it.
Thank you. So if you're being hooded, yeah, it all happens at once, the hooding and getting the diploma. So you come on the stage, you'll stop and get hooded, and there'll be people there, so it'll be obvious for you to stop. You'll stop and get hooded, you'll continue across the stage and get your diploma holder at the end of the stage where the president's standing. So yep, hooding and diploma all happens in one smooth, hopefully smooth transition on the stage. The ceremony should be done within an hour. Should be nice and short for us. I'm just reading through the chats here to see if there's anything I've missed. If I haven't answered your question, you're welcome to go ahead and chat it again right now. And we're winding down. We're getting close to 4 when Barbara will be available for you. We're so excited to see all of you on Saturday. And again, thank you for taking this time. I hope it's been helpful for you and not caused more anxiety. It's different when someone just sits here and talks about it to you versus when you actually see it. I think it'll make a lot more sense and seem very easy once you get inside Holt Arena and see the setup. And if you're really worried about it, honestly, you could go to the university's YouTube channel. We have all of our past commencement videos on there. You could watch, parts of it if you're curious about how things work. Yes. The sooner the better. So I'm sorry, I'm answering the question about people who can't do stairs and calling Holt Arena, which again, the number was 282-4931, I believe. You don't need to do it by a certain time, but earlier is definitely better because they've got a lot going on too. So as soon as you can call that number, the better for making arrangements. And again, like I said, if they can't call or they don't make it, they can just show up and our ushers will take care of them. Okay, if there are no more questions, I will go ahead and turn my camera off. I don't want to end it. I'm paranoid since I'm the host that if I leave, it will end it for everybody. So I'll just turn my camera off. Those of you who want to stick around and chat with our name reader, please do so. Thanks, Elise, for that number. So the college banners, yeah, I'm sorry if I overshare sometimes and that may cause some confusion. So when the ceremony begins, we'll start with a processional and all of the colleges will have a banner that processes in. We have one student that was selected from each college to walk in with the banner, just so that every college gets representation and we still get to maintain some of that formality and tradition. So they'll just walk in with the college banner, they'll post those up on the stage, and then they'll stay there for the ceremony. Hopefully that answered your question, Chad. All right, I don't see any more questions. So thanks again. Feel free to hang on for a few minutes, take a break, go get a drink or whatever you need to do. And Barbara should be joining us very shortly. We will see you all on Saturday. And if you think of questions in the meantime, you're welcome to email us at commencement@isu.edu. And Barbara, if you have joined us already, you are welcome to jump in whenever you're ready and introduce yourself. I've got a lot of names on my screen, but I've heard that you might already be in the room. Aha! There
Yes,
you are,
I'm
Dr. Wood
here.
Roberts. Thank you so much for joining us.
I am here.
We really
Happy
appreciate it.
to. Happy to be here. Happy to be here, and I've got my file in front of me, and I'm ready to take a shot at some names if there are people who have concerns. I will say this, it looks like many of the people who've RSVP'd have shared their pronunciations with me. And so that's making it a lot easier. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. So I'm optimistic, but if I mess up your name, please know I mean well. And I'm as enthusiastic about this rite of passage for you as you are. And I know you don't believe that, but I really am. I get chills when I participate in this event because it's such a lovely and unique occurrence. I feel privileged to be a part of it.